Please repeat. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishthiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopa kumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So today we are studying from, I share my screen. Mataji, you can see my screen, people who are online.
जी प्रभु जी दिखाई दे रहा है। वॉल्यूम थोड़ा सा और बढ़ा दीजिए प्रभु जी।
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you.
So, anyone remember what was the title of the last week's chapter? Yes. So essentially we are discussing Dhruva Maharaj pastime. Dhruva Maharaj, who is son of Uttanpad, who is son of Manu Maharaj, who is son of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji who came from the lotus navel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right. So Dhruva Maharaj, as if you may recall, Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted to sit on the lap of his father, King Uttanpad, but his stepmother Suruchi refused him. She told him, if you want to sit on the lap of your father, you have to take birth from my womb. Kukshavapi nrapa atmaja. Even though you are the son of the king, but you haven't taken birth from my womb, so you cannot sit. And then Dhruva Maharaj went to his mother. His mother's name is Suniti, Mata Suniti. And what did Mata Suniti tell him? Mata Suniti told him, Mam amangalam tat pareshu mamstha. Very important instruction as a mother, for mothers, for fathers also. Mother told Dhruva Maharaj, please don't even think of amangal, inauspiciousness for others. And you will see in today's chapter, just because of that instruction, her son became so successful that when her son is being taken to the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mother is also going with him. Otherwise, as a mother, she could have told him, who is she to speak to you like this? Abhi jaake usse baat karte hu. How can she say to you like that? But instead, she told him, no, my dear son, you should not do that. And she even told him that, bhungte jano yat para dukkha dastata. People who are giving trouble to others or even thinking about it, bhungte, they suffer themselves. She gave him that instruction. And then he asked, what shall I do, mother? She told him, Aradhya adhokshaj pad padmam. That Supreme Personality of Godhead who is beyond these material senses, go and Aradhya, serve him, go and remember him, right? That Supreme Personality of God. And then she finally concludes and tells him that I don't see anyone else. Na anyam tatah padma palash lochanad dukha chiddamte. My dear son, I don't see anyone else who can help you get rid of your miseries. Na anyam, no one else. Very important. There is no one else. Na anyam tvad abhyam pashye yatra mrityu parasparam. Spoken by mother. Who is Parikshit's mother? Uttara. Mother Uttara. When Ashwathama threw Brahmastra at her womb to kill the child in the womb, she ran towards Krishna. Arjun was there. Yudhishthira was there. Bhim was there. Nakul, Sadev were there. She could have gone to Arjun, the greatest warrior of his time. She knew very well. She ran towards Krishna. Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagat pate na anyam tvad abhyam pashe na anyam. I don't see anyone else who can give me fearlessness, because here everyone else is the cause of other person's death. Yatra mrityu parasparam. One is going to become cause of death for other. Yeah. So mother gave that important instruction. No, only go and worship him. And that Dhruva Mahārāja went to the forest. Yeah. So that was first chapter. There are 5 chapters in this pastime. 5 or 4, I think. 4 chapters. 9, 10, 11, 12. Today we'll discuss 12th chapter. Yeah. So that was in that chapter. Dhruva Mahārāja goes to the forest. Then he performs austerity. He gets a darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavan came himself to see his servant. And then he glorifies the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord asked for a boon. And then Dhruva Mahārāja asked for a boon that, my dear Lord, please give me a boon that I get the association of your devotees. I may serve you, I may remember you all the time. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead told him, no, I know. Veda aham te hridi. I know what's in your heart. Veda aham te hridi vyavsvita prayachami te. I will give you that. I know what's in your heart. And then the Supreme Lord told him, you will go and rule for 36,000 years. And then he ruled for 36,000 years. And then we discuss in the next chapter, then Dhruva Mahārāja's stepbrother, he goes to the forest for hunting. And there he gets into fight with the Yakshas. And Yaksha killed him. And then his mother, Suruchi, also went to the forest to look for him. And then she was devoured by the forest fire. She dies in that fire. And then Dhruva Mahārāja went to the forest and he started killing Yakshas. And as he was killing Yakshas, then Manu Maharaj came. Manu Maharaj, who is Dhruva Mahārāja's grandfather. Manu Maharaj came and Manu Maharaj told Dhruva, what are you doing? Na ayam himargo sadhu naam. This is not the path of the sadhus. साधु का मतलब क्या है? वो नहीं जो ऑरेंज कपड़े पहनता है, वो नहीं जिसकी दाढ़ी लंबी है, जिसने बड़ा बड़ा तिलक लगाया है. That's not sadhu. Yeah? साधु की डेफिनेशन भगवान कपिल ने दी थर्ड कैंटो में, if you remember. Yeah. What is the definition? तितिक्षुवा कारुणिका सुहृद सर्व देहिना शांत अजात शत्रवा साधुनाम साधु भूषण. Ajat Shatrava Shanta Sadhunam Sadhu Bhushana. He is a sadhu. Oh, my mother, take association of those type of people. So Manu Maharaj told Dhruv, this is not the na vayam hi margo sadhunam. Sadhus, this is not the path followed by sadhus. Pashuvat abhut vaisasam. You are killing like animals. You have killed these yakshas. Abhut. So many yakshas. Like a pashu, like an animal. This is animalistic thinking. My dear grandson, no. This is not good for our family. Go. You should stop this. And you should also ask forgiveness from Kuberji. Because you have offended Kuberji, and Kuberji is a friend of Lord Shiva. So you have indirectly offended Lord Shiva also. And like this, Manu Maharaj instructed, right? Evam swayam bhuva anushasasya dhruvam. Like this, Manu Maharaj instructed his grandson Dhruva. Ten abhivandito. And then he was, Dhruva Maharaj, he offered his obeisances to Manu Maharaj. Manu Maharaj instructed him. Usko anushasan kiya. Right? And then Dhruva Maharaj did not feel bad. Hey, old man, what are you talking? Right? These days, how children talk to each other. My old man was saying like this, as in my father. Right? This is how they talk about their parents. No, he did not say anything. He gladly accepted. And he asked forgiveness. Right? And then Abhivandito, and then he offered his obeisances. And then there were rishis with him also. Manu Maharaj did not come alone. There were many rishis also, they came with him. Right? And then Swapuram Yayo. Then he went back to his abode. Now Manu Maharaj went back. So today we will discuss Kuberji will now come. So today's chapter is titled Dhruv goes back to Godhead. So Kuberji is now coming. Kuberji comes and they will have a conversation. Kuberji and Dhruv Maharaj, they will have a conversation now. So we will read this verse today. We'll take this verse and then we will discuss this chapter further. Prabhu, take a chair if you please. The chair, you sit here. Okay, please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shanta Samadrisha Shuddha. Shantah Samadrisha Shuddha. Sarvabhutanuranjana. Sarvabhutanuranjana. Yanti anjasa achyuta padam. Yanti anjasa achyuta padam. Achyuta priya bandhava. Achyuta priya bandhava. Word by word translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. Shanta. Peaceful. Samadrisha. Equipoised. Shuddha. Cleansed, purified. Sarva. All. Bhuta. Living entities. Anuranjana. Pleasing. Yanti. Go. Anjasa, easily, Achyuta, of the Lord, Padam, to the abode, Achyuta Priya, with devotees of the Lord, Bandhava, friends. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki. What's your name? Anna, you read the translation and we'll repeat. Okay, you read 2 words at a time or 3 words and we will repeat. Okay, first you speak, then we speak. Persons who are peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, and purified, and who know the art of pleasing all other living entities, keep friendship only with devotees of the Lord, can very easily achieve the perfection home, back to God. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. So let's understand the translation. Let's understand the meaning of this verse. And then we will discuss the purport also. So this verse is spoken by Maitreya Rishi. Maitreya Rishi is speaking to Vidurji. And this is after Dhruva Mahārāja has gone back to Vaikuntha Lok. That's when Maitreya Ji is speaking to Vidurji about the glories of Dhruva Mahārāja, how he was able to go back. So he's telling him that people who are Shanta, so Dhruva Mahārāja was Shanta, peaceful, Samadrisha, equipoised. So if you are peaceful, only then you can be equipoised. If you think about, there is a sequence here. If you are peaceful in mind, then you are equipoised. Otherwise, if you are not at peace, then you will start finding faults. You start looking at people with a different vision. Yeah. So Shanta. When you are peaceful, then you are equipoised. Samadrisha. You are able to look equally at everyone. And Shuddha. Right? Shuddha just does not mean outside cleanliness, but it also means inside cleanliness. That's why cleansed and purified. So then you become purified. And in that state of mind, what Maitreya is saying is, you are able to please all the living entities. Yeah? All the living entities also means like non-humans, not just human beings, all other living entities. Right? You are soft. You have compassion for every living entity. Right? That is one of the important traits. Right? Actually, before this verse, just to give you more context, before this verse, when he is gone to that abode, so Maitreya Ji tells Dhruva Mahārāja that the Vishnu Lok, the abode that he has gone to, it is that abode which, because of that abode, all the material planetary systems, or because of Vaikuntha planets, the material planetary systems are able to illuminate. So you, maybe one step back, second canto we studied, just so you know, the whole creation, if you look at, out of that, the one third is material and the rest of it is spiritual. Yeah, if this is whole creation up to the Golok, and this is the lowest. So 1/3 is material planets and the rest of it is spiritual planets. And from the glow of the spiritual planets, the material planets, these are dark. Those planets, they don't need any light. 15th chapter, who studies 15th chapter? We studied 15th chapter in Purushottam Mantra. Right? क्या है श्लोक प्रभु बताएं? So Krishna is telling Arjun that my lok, please important, please pay attention. He's saying my lok na tad bhasyate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka. my abode, he's describing how is my abode. Recently, there was a news, scientists have found that there is on Mars planet, there is water. They have sent something there, what they call satellite or whatever, and they're saying 25 kilometers under the surface, there is some water, and now they are so delighted, they're trying to find whether people can go and live there anyway. But Krishna has given everything already. So he's saying that my abode, natad bhasyate suryo, it does not get light from sun or moon or pavaka or the fire, right? They are self-illuminating. And that's what Maitreji is telling here also, right? Na shashanko na pavaka. And then he says, yad gatva na nivartante. If one goes back there, then they don't have to come back. Tad dhamam paramam mama. Mera dham aisa param hai, Arjun, किसी को वापस नहीं आना पड़ता. That's what before this verse Maitreji is telling Vidurji. Now that Dhruva Mahārāja has gone to that abode is self-illuminating, and by the glow of that planet, other planets or other universes, they get their light, right? And then sun gets its light from that, and from sun's light, the moon and they're all dark. Moon is dark, star is dark. They don't shine, but they get light from the sun. That is why you see moon and star, otherwise they're dark. So that's what he's saying, Maitreji. He's saying that Dhruva Mahārāja has gone back to that abode. And then in the next two lines of the previous verse, he's saying, Yanana avrijan jantushu yana anugraha. People who are not merciful, people who are not compassionate towards others, they don't get to go there. Yat na avrijan. Oh, my dear Vidur, those people are not able to go there. Then he says, Kaun jate hain wahan par? Who can go there? And then he says, Vrijanti. People who can go there, those who are always busy helping others. Those who are always anisham, without any break, without any consideration, who are trying to help others. And what is that help? What is that help? The greatest help is bring them to Krishna consciousness. किसी को आपने खाना खिला दिया भूखे को, that is one thing. How many times will you give him the food? Every day will you give him food? एक दिन, दो दिन, तीसरे दिन बोलोगे कुछ काम करो भाई, right? अपने बच्चों को आप बोलते हो भाई कब तक घर में बैठे रहोगे, जाओ कुछ काम करो, do some work. No. That is the welfare he is talking about. That's what Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter. What is that verse? So he's saying to Arjun, Yah idam parmam guhyam mad bhakteshva avidhasyati bhakti mam param kritva mam ev eshyati asamsaya. Guarantee hai Krishna ki. Krishna is giving a guarantee. Yah idam paramam guhyam. Oh Arjun, this topmost secret. सीक्रेट ये नहीं है कि अभी ब्रिस्बेन में लैंड के प्राइस लो हो गए हैं, प्रभु जी एक फ्लैट खरीद लो. दैट इज नॉट द सीक्रेट. दैट इज नॉट व्हाट यू टेल अराउंड. देयर इज ए सेल at Bunnings, there is a sale at IKEA, go and buy your furniture. No, that is also okay. But param guhyam, this is the top secret that Krishna is saying. Mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati. Now you read here, you go and tell others. This is the greatest service. And then he says, Bhaktim mai param kritva. Hey Arjun, that is my param devotion. That is the topmost bhakti they do. And then mam ev. Ev means certainly. Only me, no one else. Mam ev. You won't go anywhere else. Only to Krishna. Asamshaya. Without any doubt. Greatest challenge. Rather, Krishna is throwing a challenge at you. Come to me. Right? So that's what previous verse. Yeah. Maitreya telling Vidurji that they only go there. Right? And they go there, then they have these qualities. Now we understand the purpose of this verse. Yeah. Anjasa. Without any delay. Yanti anjasa achyuta padam. Without any delay, they attain the lotus feet of the Lord Achyut. He could have said Krishna. He could have said Govinda, but he's saying Achyut means infallible, who never fails in his promise. His word will certain happen. Satya Sankalp. Whatever he says will happen, right? Achyuta Padam. And Achyuta Priya Bandhava, who are the friends of Achyuta Priya, who are the friends of, who are dear to Achyuta, or people who are friends with Achyut Bhagwan himself. I mean, in that relationship. But anything they are doing or everything is related to Bhagwan Achyuta. Yeah, we understand verse now? Okay. Now, one Prabhuji and one Mataji recite the verse, please. You can see the verse? Please recite.
Shanta Samdrisha Shuddha
Shanta Samadrisha Shuddha
Sarvabhutanuranjana
Sarvabhutanuranjana
Yantya Anjase Achutya Padama
Yanti Anjas Achyuta Padam
Achyutya Priya Bandhava
Achyuta Priya Bandhava. Okay, one Mataji.
Shanta Samadrisha Shuddha
Shanta Samadrisha Shuddha Sarvabhutanuranjana Yanti Anjas Achyuta Padam Achyuta Priya Bandhava. Now hear the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, please hear. The description of this verse fully indicates that only devotees are eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. And there should not be any doubt. You know, very often people say, Bhagwan sabke liye barabar hai, sabko barabar hona chahiye, Bhagwan pakshpat kar rahe hain, he is partial. No. Let's be honest, right? Bhagwan has already said that, ye yatha mam prapadyante, tam sathaya bhajan. It's very, how you surrender, I reciprocate accordingly. Right? So we have to make an endeavor. We have to. Lord is not cheap. Krishna is not cheap, right? We can't be doing all the nonsense and then expect Krishna, what he is doing to him should do to me also. Why? Yeah.
One more thing, one verse for me. Mamikam Sharam. What's the verse?
18th chapter.
Mamikam Sharam.
Yeah. Sarvadharman Parityaja. Yeah. So the first point stated is that devotees are peaceful, for they have no demands for their personal sense gratification. They are simply dedicated to the service of the Lord. Karmis cannot be peaceful because they have immense demands for sense gratification. As for Gnanis, they cannot be peaceful because they are too busy trying to attain liberation or merge into the existence of the Supreme. Similarly, yogis are also restless to get mystic power. But a devotee is peaceful because he is fully surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thinks of himself as completely helpless. Just as a child feels complete peace in depending on the parent, so a devotee is completely peaceful, for it depends on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee is equipoised. He sees everyone on the same transcendental platform. A devotee knows that although a conditioned soul has a particular type of body, according to his past fruitive activities, factually, everyone is part of the Supreme Lord. A devotee sees all living entities with spiritual vision and does not discriminate on the platform of the bodily concept of life. Such quality develop only in the association of devotees. Without the association of devotees, one cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Koi. You know, when Lankini was hit by Hanumanji, then she also says, Tat Mor Ati Punya Bahuta. Dekhi nayan Ram Karipita. I must have done some punyas so that from these eyes, I'm able to see the messenger of Lord Ram. Yeah, she said that. Yeah. She even goes on to say that what is the next line? Is she saying that Swarg apvarg sukh dhariye tula ek sang tul nahi tul sakhe jo sukh lav satsang. So she says all the happiness that we get, tat swarg apvarg sukh, swarg, heavenly planets, the topmost planets, all these planets, un sab ki jo happiness hai combined together, put on one side of the scale. And she says, tul nahi tul sake jo sukh lav satsang. That happiness is nothing as compared to getting a small association of the devotees. So that is the importance of association. Therefore, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and therefore, Sri Radha Partha Satya Ashram, Kripal Prabhuji, and Karuna Mataji, they are, hosting at their house, inviting us. Thank you very much. Factually, whoever lives in this society automatically develops Krishna consciousness. Devotees are dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is only dear to devotees. On this platform only can one make progress in Krishna consciousness. Persons in Krishna consciousness or devotees of the Lord can please everyone, as is evident in the Krishna consciousness movement. We invite everyone without discrimination. We request everyone to sit down and chant the Hare Krishna mantra and take as much prasad as we can supply. And thus everyone is pleased with us. This is the qualification. Sarva Bhuta Anuranjana. As for purification, no one can be more pure than devotees. Anyone who once utters the name of Vishnu immediately becomes purified inside and outside. Yasmaret Pundarikaksham. Yeah. So Abhyantara Shuchi. Since a devotee constantly chants the Hare Krishna mantra, no contamination of the material world can touch him. He is therefore actually purified. Muchi hoy suchi hoy yadi Krishna bhaje. It is said that even a cobbler or person born in the family of a cobbler can be elevated to the position of Brahmana Shuchi if he takes to Krishna consciousness. Any person who is purely Krishna conscious and who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the purest in the whole universe. Srila Bhaktivedanta purports ki. Okay, let's do Mangala Charan and then we will quickly discuss today's chapter. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanyam Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubha evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhuter mahadbhir yayma puro vibho nirmaya shete yadamosha purusha bhunte gunansho dasasho dashatmakam solanka srashta bhagavan vachamsi me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanam Gatam Katha Amritam Satat Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishide Vajanma Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishide Vajanma Prasannam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, may the Supreme Lord please decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. May we are all truly able to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, serve Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and all the living entities. Hare Krishna. So today's chapter is Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. So like I said, Manu Maharaj left the place. And then Kuberji came there, and Maitreji continues speaking to Vidurji, and he tells him that Dhruvam Nivrittam Vaishasad Apetamanyu. So he says Dhruv, when Dhruv Nivrittam Vaishasad means killing. Apetamanyum, when his anger subsided. When his anger subsided, when he stopped killing. And because Manu Maharaj had told him that you should go and ask forgiveness from Kuberji, and he was actually in the same area. He was on the doorsteps of Alkapuri, which is where Kuberji stays. So Kuberji, when he noticed, Pratibuddhaya, when he came to know that Dhruva Maharaj's anger has subsided, he has now stopped killing, then Bhagavan Dhaneshwara, Kuberji is called Dhanesh. We all worship Kuberji. So there is a difference. Kuberji is Dhaneshwar, whereas Mother Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune. Fortune is more, whereas Dhan is limited. Currency. Kuberji is currency. And Mother Lakshmi can give you more than the currency. Yes. So when Kuberji realized that Dhruva Maharaj's anger is settled, he came to that place. He came to that place and he starts speaking to Dhruva Maharaj, and he addresses him that te anagham. He first tells him paritushto asmi te anugham. Paritushto means I am very pleased with you. His thousands of soldiers have been killed. He killed thousands of yakshas, 130,000 yakshas fought with Dhruva Maharaj alone. And he killed many of them. And he just not killed, he killed them brutally. Their hands were chopped off, their legs were chopped off. And then Kuberji comes and he says, Paritushto asmi. Te anagham. Oh, sinless. What do you understand out of this? Well, he has killed so many soldiers, and he's addressing me, you are a sinless person. You haven't performed any sin. Once there was a court case going on, and this person who was standing in the court, he had read Bhagavad Gita, obviously, and he had killed someone. He had killed someone, and the judge was about to give him punishment. The verdict was he was going to be hanged till death, something like that. Punishment was going to be announced. And then he was asked भाई तुम्हारी कोई आखिरी इच्छा है? Do you want to speak anything? And he says, Judge Saab, what are you doing? How can I perform a sin? Judge says, what makes you think you haven't done a sin? He says, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jatasya dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janmam mritasya cha. He said what? He said, भगवान कृष्ण ने कहा है जिसका जन्म हुआ है उसकी मृत्यु निश्चित है. ध्रुव, certain person who has taken birth is destined to die. तो इसको मरना ही था. And then the judge thought for a second. He said, yes, you're right. Jatasya dhruva mrityu. You are also following in that principle then. That principle applies to you also. You have performed a sin, so you know. But here this is transcendental discussion. So here Kuberji is addressing Dhruva Maharaj. I am very pleased with you, and oh sinless. And why I am pleased with you? He says because Pitamaha Adeshad Vairam Dustyajam Tyajah. Because you listen to the orders or instructions of your Pitamaha, of your grandfather. Pitamaha Adeshad Vairam. Animosity, Dustyajam, which is very difficult to leave, but Tyaja. But you have decided to, stop fighting with the Yakshas. He was still angry, right? Because his brother was killed by the Yaksh. And he says, I am very pleased with you. So here, commentator says, our Acharya says, if Dhruva Maharaj had any self, please come, Mataji. If Dhruva Maharaj had any personal guilt that because of me, or that I have performed this sin, so Kuberji, without even him speaking anything, he was relieving him of that guilt, of feeling of guilt. That's why he addressed him, oh sinless one. And then he speaks a little bit of philosophy. He says, no. He says, your brother wasn't killed by the Yakshas, and you haven't killed these Yakshas. Then who? He says, Kalo Ayam. This time factor. This is the time factor. How as a Jivatma, we are all controlled by our karma. Kal karma gunadhino. We are adhin, we are controlled by Kal, Karma and Guna. Kal is the time, Karma is our actions, and Guna is the modes, the various modes that we are in. Yeah. Please come forward, Prabhuji. Today, Radha Sham Sundar Jhulan Yatra, so we're seeing so many devotees coming. Yeah. Very nice. Kal karma gunadhino. When Vidurji, Yudhishthir, yes. When Vidurji took Dhritarashtra away, we've discussed that in first canto. When Vidurji came and he told you, Dhritarashtra, what are you doing? You are staying here. Bhima apavarjitam pindam adatte grihpalavat. He says, like a dog who subsists on food thrown at him, similarly, O Dhritarashtra, you are living off the food stuff prepared and cooked by Bhim. And he is calling pind. He is not saying pind. Kisko diya jata hai? For the dead people, Shraddha. He said, same Bhim. He actually asked, when Vidur comes, he asked Dhritarashtra, how are you? Dhritarashtra says, I'm living here very nicely. And Yudhishthira treats me very friendly. Yudhishthira comes to me every day before he goes to his palace, before he goes to in his assembly, he will come and pay his obeisances to me. He'll take my blessings. Yudhishthira treats me very nicely. And then Vidur asks Arjun. Arjun is okay. And then he says, Bhim. He says, Bhim, वो तो रोज आके मुझको गाली देता है. Bhim will come and abuse me every day. Because Dhritarashtra killed them. Dhritarashtra even tried to kill Bhim, remember? He asked him to come and embrace him. And Bhim was the cook. So, if Mataji is cooking in the kitchen, then how can Tatvidas get the food without pleasing? Right? How can I get food without pleasing? How can, Keshav Chandra Prabhu get any food? I mean, so I'm saying you have to please the lady of the house or the cook of the house. So similarly, Bhim was the cook. Now Bhim was the cook and Bhim, जो बाद में खाना बच जाए, whoever comes, धृतराष्ट्र का नंबर जब तक आता है तब तक जो बचा कुचा खाना था, that's what they used to give him. So then Vidur told him, why are you staying here? Look at you. Your 100 sons got killed. The whole dynasty has been, destroyed. You are being abused every day. And then he says, Aho mahiyasi jantor jivitasha yatha bhavan. He says, look how strong is the desire to live of a living entity. How strong. My Guru Maharaj was explaining once, old people, very often they say, Bas, aaj to Bhagwan bula le. So Maharaj was telling that once in a village, a lady used to say. So then they said, ठीक है, माताजी तुमको जाना है, तो आज तुमको फिर इंजेक्शन लगा देते हैं. We get you poison injection. Oh नहीं, वही कैसे जाएंगे? अभी कैसे जाएंगे? नहीं, अभी नहीं जाना, अभी तो बहुत काम करना है. So this is the desire to live. We being abused, we being, misused, etc. But still we want to somehow live. So that's what Vidurji is telling Dhritarashtra. Aho mahiyasi jantor jivitasha yatha. But the point is, it's the Kal. Kal, karma, gunadhin. Dhritarashtra had to go through his own karma. Right? So similarly, here Kuberji is telling Dhruva Maharaj that it is the Kal. You haven't killed these yakshas and Yaksh hasn't killed your brother. It is all controlled by the Kal. It is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of the Kal. In the form of the Kal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is giving them the result of their karmas. They are bound by their karmas and those karmas manifest as per the time. So sometimes wrong things happen to you. Sometimes I've heard people saying, Prabhu, last 2 years I've been going to temple every day. I haven't done anything wrong. Why this happened to me? So it is that karma that we did some time ago or in the previous life. Last time we spoke about karma, right? I explained to you 3 types of karmas, right? Sanchit, Prarabdha and Kriyaman. So the timing of getting the fruit of the karma is under the Kal, which is an energy of the Supreme Lord, right? And Gun and the modes, right? So that's what Kuberji is saying. It is controlled by the time and because of their karma, they had to suffer. But in this whole process, he says the thinking of I and him, I and mine, that feeling, that thinking causes the bondage. I killed, I did this, you did this to me. That feeling will cause the bondage for the living entity and become cause of rebirth. See, Kuberji is explaining philosophy too. He knows Vedanta. So he is not just a treasurer of the demigods. So a very important point to understand. They are all exalted personalities. They know, they understand, they are all devotees of the Lord. Only then they get to get that position. So he says to him that this is that, and if you look at it from a like above, little bit above, what is the birth and death for a living entity? Death means what? It reappears. It's like sun setting here, appearing somewhere else. Death means you leaving this body and you taking another body. Isn't it? It's appearance and disappearance. Bhagavan Kapila also explained, we discussed in the 3rd canto. He explained, birth means what? Beginning of our reactions, beginning of the reaction of previous karmas. Death means ending of the reaction of some karmas. And like this, the cycle continues. So like this, Kuberji explained to Dhruva Maharaj, you are not responsible, right? Number one, it is all by the time factor. Number two, the feeling of I and mind, which becomes the cause of bondage. And then that creates rebirth. And then Jivatma appears, disappears, appears, disappears, one body to another body, and the transmigration happens. So then what you should do? Then Kuberji is telling Dhruva Maharaj, Bhajasva bhajniye angrihim. Bhajas. Then, my dear Dhruv, let's worship the Supreme Personality of God, who is to be worshipped. Bhajaniyam. Bhajas bhajniye angrihim. Who is Bhavaya? Bhavachiddam. Who is the cause of creation? Bhavachiddam. Who is the cause of stopping your births, like Bhavachiddam. Right? And that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Yuktam, Virahitam, Shaktaya, Gunmayaya, Gunmayi Atmamaya. Little bit of philosophy, but just let's try to grasp this. Right? So what he's saying to him is that let's then worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the creator, who is also Bhavachiddam, and how he creates this, how he performs these activities. He says, who is Yuktam, who engages or who is with his Shakti. And that Shakti is Gunamayi, which is Maya. Right? Which is external potency, which has three modes of material nature. Right? By his own Maya, but which is his Shakti, which is one of his energy. He is Yuktam and he is Virahitam. It is his Shakti, but he's still not attached with this. And in last session, I gave you an example. What was that example, if anyone remembers? Magnet. If you question how Krishna is doing this and still how he's not involved in this. You know, you all done an experiment in science in college school. Magnet, you opposite poles or magnet you bring and you can move the iron from a distance without touching the iron. So that's how Krishna's energy operates. Krishna's energy comes, but Krishna is not connected. So that's what Kuberji tells Dhruva Maharaj, that let's go and worship the Supreme Personality of God. And then he further goes on to say that I have heard. Then he says, I have heard, or you ask for a boon. Then he says, you actually ask for a boon from me. He has killed his so many soldiers and he is telling him, ask for a boon. He says, Varam Varahar, Varam Vararho. You are the right candidate to receive a boon from me. So ask for a boon. And why you are right candidate? He says, I have heard. I have heard that you are always absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Who is Abjanabh Padayor Anantaram, the lotus navel, the Supreme Lord who is the lotus navel. You are constantly chanting and thinking about him, glorifying him. Right? Tvam, you. Vayam Anga Shushruma. Oh, King, I have heard about this. We have heard, but see, the glories of a devotee automatically spreads. Where did Kuber Maharaj or Kuberji heard about it? But he says, I have heard about it. Because you are always absorbed. And he's very clear, in whose worship is he absorbed all the time? The lotus navel path, the feet of that one personality who has a lotus navel. No one else. No one else. Right? So please ask for a boon. Paritushtoasmi, I am happy with you. And then Dhruva Maharaj asked for a boon. Very nice verse. Maitreji says, I'll sing you, please hear. Saraj Raje Navaraya Chodito. Can you sing? Saraj Raje Navaraya Chodito Dhruvo Mahābhāgavato Mahamati To Mahamati Harau Savavre Achalitam Samritim Yaya Harau Savavre Achalitam Samritim Yaya Tarati Ayatne Naduratayam Tama Tarati Ayatne Naduratayam Tama. Very nice. So this could be our prayer also. Instead of asking for currency from Kuberji, you ask this. Kuberji ki puja karte hain na hum log, we do his, I think during the Kartik month there is one date. Prabhu, kaun sa date? Do you know that? Deepavali, yes, yeah. Around that Dhanteras. Yes, yeah. So you can say this verse. So what Dhruva Maharaj has asked from Kuberji now, please hear. So Maitriji is saying, Sir Raja Rajena Varaya Chodito. First of all, he's saying that king of the kings, Kuberji, when he asked Dhruva Maharaj to ask for a boon. And why is Raj Rajan? Why is king of the kings? I told you last time. Kuber is not a Yaksh by birth. But Lord Shiva made him a king of Yakshas. Yakshanam Kinnaranam cha. Yakshanam Kinnaranam cha. Ragyam Raja Suvrata. Pati Punne Jananam Sarvesham Dhanado Bhava. Rudra Sahita Shipuran. The Lord Shiva gave this boon to Kuberji. That you became the king of the king. And who are the king? Yaksh, Kinnar, Punyajan, right? You became their king. So that king of the kings, Maitriji is saying, when he asked Dhruva Maharaj to ask for a boon, that Dhruva Maharaj, who is Mahamati, with great intelligence, who is Mahabhagavat, then the boon that he asked for is Harau Savavre Achalitam Samritim. May I have unbroken, akhandit remembrance, unflinching faith in the remembrance of the Supreme Lord. So our faiths dwindle so many times, right? We all have experienced this. So this is the right boon to ask. My dear Lord, may my faith should never dwindle. He asked for an unflinching, undwindling faith in the remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Right? And just by remembrance, he says, Tarati ayatnena durattayam taman. With that remembrance, my dear Lord, without making any endeavors, I will be able to cross over this ocean of nations. Please give me that boon. So this is called Pancham Purusharth. What are the four Purusharth? Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha. But this is Pancham Purusharth. That Moksha is Mukti. But no, we say we don't even want Mukti. We want the topmost. We want to be a servant of the Supreme Lord. We want to be able to serve him. And our Acharya says, actually, we should not ask that. We should ask for servant to be a servant, to be a servant, to be a servant, to be a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. That's what we ask. So he asked for a Pancham Purusharth, and then Kuberji gave him that instructions. We have already covered that. So Dhruvaji asked for that boon. Kuberji says Tathastu. He gave him that boon, and then Kuberji returned to his kingdom. Now Dhruva Maharaj, he came back to his capital and he started ruling, and he ruled in such a nice way. So he would worship the Supreme Lord through sacrifices. He was performing very sacrifices, devotional services. He was doing a lot of charity. This is how he is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Again, we took a reference from Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna has instructed, Aham hi sarva yagnana bhokta cha prabhurev cha. I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. So through the sacrifices, if you are worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Again in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in 3rd chapter, he has also stressed this point, verse number 3.9. Yagna arthat, he says, Yagna arthat, right? Karmano netra loko ayam karma bandhana. If you're doing any karma, please mind you, if you're doing any yagna and sacrifice to get some material gains, क्या बोलते हैं 7:30 चल रही है, हवन कर लीजिए. क्यों प्रभु 7:30 सुना होगा आपने? 7:30 चल रही है, क्या बोलते हैं मंगल ठीक नहीं चल रहा है, यज्ञ कर लीजिए. No. So that's what Krishna is saying. The yagna, all these are to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Remember this. But if we do for any other purpose, then Krishna is saying, Loko ayam karma bandhana. In this lok, you will get bound by the karmas. It becomes the reason for the bondage. Yeah. Yeah. Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Therefore, Arjun, O meri bua Kunti ke putra, right? Therefore, perform your karmas without any expectation. Right? Mukta Sangha, without any attachment. So with that mood, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the Supreme Lord through sacrifices, bhakti. He performed a lot of charity, and he was seeing Lord in everything and everything in the Lord. He developed that vision. Yeah. And with that vision, and then further in his rule, everybody was happy, and the praja used to look up to him as his father. And like this, he was serving his praja. And then a time came, Dhruva Maharaj realized after 36,000 years. And by the way, he did not become old. The Supreme Lord had already told him that your body parts, you will have full strength for 36,000 years. No problem. कोई टांग में दर्द नहीं होगा, कोई घुटने में दर्द नहीं होगा, कोई चश्मा नहीं लगेगा. No, nothing. Full. But then he realized through that process that now is the time for me to retire. Right? And then another thing that Maitreji tell Vidurji, that he, in this process, sometimes we see some devotees, for example, and they have some opulence, and you see them enjoying. वो कहते हैं कि जब किसी दूसरे के ऊपर बात आती है तो हम जज बन जाते हैं, और जब हमारे ऊपर आती है तो हम वकील बन जाते हैं. You understand? In others' affair we become judge. In our affair we become a lawyer. So when you see somebody, right? You remember that past time in the case of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was so rich, so opulent. When Gadadhar Pandit went to his place, they could not believe that how can he be a devotee of the Lord. As they entered his house, he was eating angur like this. He was lying on a bed of resham ko kya bolenge English mein? Silk bed. He was lying. He was wearing all the jewelry, and there were people fanning him. Right? There were people fanning him, and he was lying like this, and he was eating grapes like this. And then Pundarik Vidyanidhi said, no, then Gadadhar Pandit, he said, what kind of devotee is this? But then the person who took him there, he read his mind. He said, you are making a great offense. You are committing a great offense against a great devotee. And then he read his mind, and then he started reciting that verse. Aho bakiyam stanakal kutam jingha sayapayadapi asadhavi. He said that as he recited that verse, that Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he fell from his bed and he started crying. And he's crying non-stop. And then he started throwing the pillows here and there, and he became like mad. And he hurt himself in that mood. And then they said, what happened to him? He said, because in this verse, we are saying that Baki, Putana, had gone to kill Krishna, when he just even heard the thought, or when he, even the thought of him, even the thought coming that somebody is going to hurt my Krishna, he feels so much pain for that. Forget about hurting. You know, like somebody tells, today I'm going to kidnap your daughter from your place. If you get a fake call, today you are going to be kidnapped. Then your whole day, you start calling people, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen, right? नहीं, इसको मत ले जाओ, इसको मत ले जाओ, मेरी जान ले लो. You know, you can take me, don't take my son, don't take my this and all, right? All of this. So Pundrik Vidyanidhi, he had same feeling for Krishna. And the moment he heard this verse, his true feelings came out. He started crying. How can somebody even think of touching my Krishna? How can this happen to Krishna? See? So that's how. So these people, they straight away enter into the Leela. He entered into that Leela as if I'm there, as if Putna is coming to kill my Krishna. And then he's thinking, oh, hi, he's coming. How can I stop him, protect him? So the point is that sometime when you see, don't judge them. Don't be judgmental. You don't know their potential. So Dhruva Maharaj, in this case, he's saying, Dhruva Maharaj, so through bhog, bhogair punya shayam kurvan, abhogair ashubham. Through bhog, because he had earned some punya, so through bhog, he punyo ka shay kiya unhone. You understand? Shay means, kya bolenge English mein? Kya bro? Exhaust, yes. He exhausted his good karmas through enjoyment. And he exhausted his bad karmas through austerities. Ab ho gaye. Like this, oh, account balance kar diya, zero kar diya. Last time, like I said, buddhi yukto jahati hai, ubhau sukrit dushkrit. Sukrit and dushkrit, both good karma and bad karma, both have to be nullified. You have to clear your account. If you think you have done so much good karma, you again have to come back. That becomes your reason for bondage. Bad karma to hai hi bondage. Right? So as a devotee, we want to rise above. Akarma. Karma, vikarma and akarma. Krishna has explained 3 types of karmas. Karma is you doing your karma. Vikarma is kukarma, jo nahi karna chahiye. And akarma is you are doing your karma, but without any expectation. कर्मण्य एव अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भु माते असंगोस्त कर्मणि. Very important verse. Remember this. We all heard this during Mahabharata, right? But we don't understand the meaning. So what Krishna is saying to Arjuna is कर्मणि एव अधिकारस्ते. तुम्हें सिर्फ कर्म करने का अधिकार है. You have right only to perform the karma. Ma faleshu kadachana. Don't think of the fal result anytime. Kadachana. Then third and fourth, very important lines. In the third line, Krishna says, Ma karma phal heturhu. You have go to the extent you also should not consider yourself the reason for the karma. That's why Kuberji is telling Dhruva Maharaj, you are not the reason for ma karma phal heturhu. And then finally, if something goes wrong, if something happens which you did not want to happen, then Krishna also wants. Ma, then he also saying that then you should also not stop yourself. You should also not withdraw yourself from performing the karma. Right? Mate, right? Asang karmani. कर्म से अपने आप को डिटैच, not to perform the karma, you should also not be attached to not performing the karma. You should also not consider yourself the reason for karma. Sometimes we say कि अरे यार ऐसा करो तो भी गड़बड़, ऐसा करो तो भी गड़बड़, मैं कुछ करूंगा ही नहीं. खाना अच्छा बनाओ तो तत्वित कंप्लेन करता है, खाना अच्छा ना बनाओ तो तत्वित कंप्लेन करता है, मैं खाना बनाऊंगी नहीं. नहीं ऐसा नहीं. Sorry. Right? No. We have to do this. We have to do this. गिफ्ट ला के दो तो कंप्लेंट करते हैं, गिफ्ट ना ला के दो तो कंप्लेंट करते हैं. ऐसा गिफ्ट लेके आना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. So कर्म करना है. And then gift दे के अगर thank you नहीं बोला तो भी complain नहीं करना, right? Don't expect anything. So we have to apply these in our lives. Okay. So like this, Dhruva Maharaj, he ruled, and then he decided to retire. And then Dhruva Maharaj gave the kingdom to his son Utkal, and then he went to the forest Badrikashram. He went to Badrikashram to perform austerity. Now, as he was there, he started with Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, he said he was following Niyam, Yam and Niyam. He went there. He will bathe every day in the river. He will clean himself. And he was performing that, Yam and Niyam. And then he will also sit in a proper asana after taking a bath. So Yam, Niyam, asana. And then pranayam. Then through the breathing process, he fixed his body or fixed his mind, right? And then through that process, he withdrew his senses, pratyahar. Pratyahar means he withdrew his senses. And after the pratyahar, then dharan. Then he got his mind fixed on the Virat Roop of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Dharan kar liya unko. Right? He became one, sense of oneness, you can say. He's seeing him and he's seeing himself in him, and in him he's seeing everything. And then dhyan. And then 8th stage, he got into the stage of samadhi. So like this, he practiced Ashtanga Yoga. And then through that process, I think in samadhi also, I told you everything. I told you last time, Kapil Dev Bhagwan, when he explains the liberation of Ashtanga Yogis. The Ashtanga Yogis are also what they are doing in the samadhi. Vaikuntha Leela Vidhyanam. In the samadhi, they are also meditating on the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. ऐसा नहीं वो समाधि में कोई शून्य देख रहा है, कोई zero देख रहा है, कोई somebody is looking at, zero, nothing, vacuum, stone. No. In the trance also, they are visualizing the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. Right? So like this, Dhruva Maharaj, and then he developed the ecstatic symbols. The tears will start flowing down from his, from his eyes. The hairs will stand on his body. So like this, he got into a state of that he completely became aloof from the external body. And through this constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord of the Bhakti, he also became free from the Shuksham Sharir, Alinga, gross body and the Shuksham body. Gross body that you see outside, Shuksham body is mind, intelligence, and false ego. He completely merged himself in the thoughts of Krishna. Through that process, his linga, his that subtle body, those ahankar, those intelligence, everything. Maya arpita mano buddhir, maame veshasya samse. Man aur buddhi sab unhone Krishna ko arpit kar diya. Everything unto the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He got into that state. And when he got into that state, through that process, then Supreme Personality of Godhead, then Lord Vishnu's associates, then they came in an aeroplane, right? They came in an aeroplane, and as they were coming, Dhruva Maharaj saw in that aeroplane, there were two associates of the Supreme Lord, Nanda and Sunanda is their name, and they were four-armed, blackish body. They were wearing helmets, jewels. They were looking exactly like Supreme Personality of God. Right? Chaturbhuj form, they came. And as Dhruva Maharaj saw them, he stood up. He stood up and he did not know how to welcome them. Sometimes somebody comes into your house, you don't know how to welcome them. So Dhruva Maharaj did not know how to welcome them. So Maitreyi says, as they came in, he just started chanting the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nanam Namani. Nanam Namani Grananan Madhutvishat. He bowed down, Nanam, as in Namaskar Kirna, and then he did not know what to speak. So he just started chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So sometimes, like in the villages also people say how they greet each other. Ram Ram. You go Vrindavan, Radhe Radhe. So like this, if you don't know someone, they just chant the holy name. So like this, Dhruva Maharaj, he was standing there, Kritanjali, with his folded hands, and he looking at them, and he just started chanting the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As he was doing that, then you can see this is the plane for Dhruva Maharaj, right? And then Nand and Sunand, they spoke to Dhruva Maharaj, and they tell him, "Oh, Dhruva Maharaj, you are such an exalted devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the age of 5 years, you are able to please the Supreme Lord, and you are also able to get a direct darshan of the Supreme Lord. You are such a great devotee of the Lord. The Supreme Lord is very pleased with you, and he has sent us to bring you back to him. Please come with us. Please get on this plane. Atishta. Yeah. Atishta, please come and board this plane and come to Vishnu Lok. Vishnor Paramam Padam. Right? Get to the abode of the Vishnu Lok. Please come and board this plane. Right? And then as Dhruva Maharaj, then he saw them and they asked him to board the plane. What did Dhruva Maharaj do? He straight away jumped on the plane? No. He took his bath. He performed his sandhya. Sandhya means? Sandhya means?
Evening, early morning, middle of
Yes,
the day.
yes. Very good. We sing Guru Astakam every day morning. Dhyayan stuvam stasya yashastri sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Dhyayan stuvam stasya yashastri sandhyam. Sandhyam means sandhi. And sandhi means when two things join. So first sandhi is in the morning, Brahma Muhurat. When night is going and day is about to come, that's one sandhi. In the afternoon, that is another sandhi. You understand? Madhyan. And then next sandhi is the evening when sun is about to set. So whatever time it was, he performed his sandhya vandan. If it was afternoon, then in the afternoon he performed his worship. If it was morning, he performed his morning worship. According to the time and circumstance, he performed his routine. Then he went around in the Badrika ashram. He paid his obeisances to all the sages. Then he circumambulated the plane, the plane that you see there. And then he bore down to the plane, because the Lord's paraphernalia is not different from the Lord. And then as he was getting ready to board the plane, then the death personified came. Death personified came. Tato uttan pado putra dadarsha antakam agatam. And then as he was about to board the plane, antakam, you can say Yamraj or the time, whoever, he saw that coming. And then he paid his obeisances to Dhruva Maharaj. And as if that Dhruva Maharaj asked him, why you have come? He said, my dear Lord, O Dhruva, O great devotee, because you are leaving this Martya Lok, it is my duty to come. That's why I have come to you. Right? And then that death personified bore down to Dhruva Maharaj. See, such is the glory of a devotee of the Lord. As he bore down, then Dhruva Maharaj put his foot on the head of Mrityor Murdhani Padam Datta Aruro Adbhutam Griham. He put his foot on the head of the death personified, and that became like a step for him. And then he get onto the plane. See, this is the glory of the devotee of the Lord. And Dhruva Maharaj, and as he got onto the plane, then the demigods were showering the flowers from the skies. And suddenly Dhruva Maharaj remembered his mother. He was thinking, what will happen to my mother? What did his mother instructed him? Aradhya adokshaj pada padmam. Mama mangalam tat. Please go and worship Padma Palash Lochanad. See, this is like I was saying, a mother can go back to Godhead just by teaching the son, teaching their children how to perform the worship to the Supreme Personality of God. Just by that qualification. And as Dhruva Maharaj was thinking like this, then Nand and Sunand, they could read Dhruva Maharaj's mind. And they said, my dear Dhruva Maharaj, please don't worry. See, there is another plane which is ahead of you. Your mother is already going in that plane. See? So not only him, he also took his mother with him. And then both mother and son, then they go. And as Dhruva Maharaj is going, he says his plane passes through many planetary systems. And then he arrives on Dhruv Loka. Yeah? And then Maitreya is telling Vidurji, then he tells him that, as I told you before the class, right? He told him who are eligible to go back to the Godhead, right? And which is also today's verse. We won't repeat the verse. The time is short now. So we'll just go through that. But basically, he is describing the glories of Dhruv Lok, how that planet is. Like I told you, that planet illuminates other planets by its self-effulgence. And only an exalted devotees can go there. And one of their prime quality is that Sarva Bhutanuranjana, who are giving pleasure to other devotees. Achyuta Priya Bandhava. Right? People who are engaged in the welfare of others without any consideration. Those people. Right? So he says, glories of, and Dhruva Maharaj went to that abode. And then Maitreya Muni also tells, also glorified Dhruva Maharaj at the Pracheta's sacrifice. So Pracheta's pastime will come in this canto. In the 4th canto, in the future chapters, when he's further describing the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. The next chapter is the children of Dhruva Maharaj and their children, and then Prithu Maharaj appeared in that lineage, and then the Prachetas will come, right? So we'll discuss that. But Prachetas are disciple of Narada Muni. Narada Muni instructed them also, and in their assembly, Narada Muni is glorifying Dhruva Maharaj. And he's saying in that assembly that Dhruva Maharaj attained that abode. That abode is not attained even by the Vedantis, people who are knower of the Vedas. That Dhruva Maharaj, at the age of 5 years, he got the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says, what to speak of attaining the abode of the Lord? Even the method, important, please focus. Even the method that is followed by Dhruva Maharaj, people cannot even follow that method. What to speak of attaining the goal? You understand? There is a goal and there is a path to that goal. He says people can't even follow that path. What about achieving the goal? So that goal is achieved by Dhruva Maharaj at the age of 5. And he says, Jigaya Prabhum Ajitam. That Prabhu who is unconquerable. Usko unhone jeet liya. Kaise jeet liya? Tad भक्त गुणे पराजित. भगवान भक्त के गुणों से पराजित हो जाते हैं. He was able to defeat that unconquerable Lord through his qualities of a devotee. That's how that. So this is what Naradji is speaking about Dhruva Maharaj in the assembly of Prachetas, where they are performing a sacrifice. Yeah. So like this, Narad Muni glorifies him. And then there is a Fal Shruti. There are a number of verses. You can read that yourself. But it is the result you get. Is it by glorifying by hearing this pastime? And you all have benefited from this pastime. So I've just keep one of the Fal Shruti here. Maybe I ask one of the children to read this. Where is Arna? Or where is Lagan? Arna is busy? Arna, can you read this? Read this from here. Read this loudly. Come here, beta. Come here at the front. Right? Yes. Please read and like 2-3 words so that everybody can hear. Please read.
Persons who have
who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord should recite this narration Dhruva Maharaj without taking remuneration. See, this is said in Bhagavad also. Some people do Bhagavad Saptah and they take money. Some people do programs, so see, it is strongly prohibited. Thank you. Please continue. Specifically, recitation is recommended on the full moon or dark moon day, on the day after Ekadashi, on the appearance of the Shravan star, at the end of a particular tithi or the occasion of Vyatipat, at the end of the month or on Sunday. Such recitation should, of course, be performed before a favorable audience. When recitation is performed this way, without professional motive, the reciter and audience become perfect. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. So see, there are only 5 chapters, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You all can recite. You all can just read translation at your home, right? And it is guaranteed, right? So if you recite this, is it said somewhere? Okay. In one of the verses, when you read it, it is mentioned that you become eligible to achieve the same position achieved by Dhruva Maharaj. So this is the word of Bhagavatam. If Bhagavatam is saying this, then we should not doubt, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarva Ashraya Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Artha Koy. Krishna Tulya Bhagavat. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. So you should have the faith in the scriptures. If Mahaprabhu is saying, then it is definitely going to happen. Krishna Tulya, Vibhu, Sarva Ashraya. Everyone can take shelter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We're about to conclude, but I was just thinking, and we started this, our yagna, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in December 21. So now almost 3 years. And I think we have done about 70, we have covered 72 chapters. Or maybe 74, yes, 74. Today is 74th chapter, 4th canto. 12, if you canto 1, 2, 3. So if you go with this speed, we will be able to, hopefully, by 2032, December 2032, if we survive, you take 30-year mortgage on a house. Why not? Why not this mortgage? Right? So by 2032, we will be able to complete the study of complete. I'm hesitant to use the word complete, but at least read this in this association by 2032. So another 8 years to go. So this is our sankalp. And in this sankalp, everybody is part of this sankalp. Even Bhavin, he is coming every day. Is Bhavin's birthday today? Today or it?
Bhavin's father's birthday.
Bhavin's father's birthday. Oh, yes. Very nice. Very nice. Prabhu. May the Supreme Lord be merciful to you and your family all the time. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, in this sankalp, it is not only Kripal Prabhu or Venuvadak Das or Banwari Das or Keshav Chand. It is everybody's sankalp. We are all together in this, right? So let's all stay together and let's pray that in another 8 years, we will be healthy and we will be able to at least go through this process. With the time, sometime there are some misunderstandings come, because teen tap, what are the 3 taps? Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. They are always there. Even Dhruva Maharaj says that Adi Devik, the demigods, they interrupted me. The demigods, they spoiled my intelligence. So I asked for this. I thought of getting a kingdom, he's saying. So we are always influenced by the material modes, and we are always suffering from these 3 taps. Nobody can say that I am not. If somebody is saying, then they are lying. Only Krishna. But Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam can help us. Very second verse. Dharma projita kaitavo atra parmo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivdam tapatrayo unumulanam. The second verse of first canto. Tapatrayo unumulanam. Unmul matlab root se usko nikal dega. Jad se usko nikal dega. So this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is spoken by this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Parer Ishvara Saddo Hradi Avrudyate Atra Kritibhi Shushrusubhi Tatshanat. So what is said, what is being said here is that this Śrīmad-Bhāgavat, which is written by Mahamuni Vyasdev, Kimva Parer Ishvara, then what is the need for anything else? Kimva parer, kisi aur cheez ki zarurat nahi hai. Ishvara sadyo hridi avrudyate. Shushrushabhi. Just by hearing, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gets bound, avrudyate, compact. वो हृदय में आके बंध जाते हैं. He gets bound in he gets prisoned in your heart. Sadyo, immediately. Tatshanat, from that moment itself. So this is the guarantee of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So what I'm saying is, Prabhuji Mataji, let's please, support each other. Let's please stay together. Today is a very auspicious day. We're going to celebrate Jhulan Yatra. I wanted to speak on Jhulan Yatra also, but the time is running now. I have to stop. Kal, we are all controlled by the time, right? But I will just conclude. Please focus on this. All the 3 tap can be removed by Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This is the guarantee of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So, and another 8 years, please remember, right? Let's plan until 2032 December. Right? Let's all stay together, at least occasionally, but let's become part of this. And like I said, in this sankalp, it is not individual. Even some insects are here. Even some insects are here. It is their sankalp also. Please be mindful. They're also listening. They're also hearing. Some insects in the roof also, a spider or mosquito. So we are all connected into this. Let's all stay together, glorify Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam together. And through this process, like I said, these 3 tap, these material modes, sometimes our mind is bewildered. We get, adi bhautik, ek jeev ko dusre jeev se problem ho jati hai. These things will come. But let's just stay firm in our sankalp and let's focus on the higher goal. Higher goal is to serve the Supreme Personality of God, right? Constant remembrance of the Supreme Personality of God with that mood. So Jhulan Yatra, Prabhuji Mate, I'll just 2 minutes describe so that you develop that mood. So Jhulan Yatra is the occasion, you must have heard in back in India, normally daughters, they go back to their parents' house during this time. This is the rainy season. Daughters go back to their parents' house, rainy season, weather is very humid. So normally they put swings in the front yard, in the backyard. You will see in villages, every household will have a swing. So this is a festive mood. But in Vrindavan, last time I think Banwari Prabhu was asking, it is already going on. So in Nandagaon, Gokul, they celebrate for 30 days. Vrindavan 13 days. But Srila Prabhupada has told us for 5 days. He has given us instruction from Ekadashi to Purnima. So that's even Jagannath Puri, they celebrate, by the way, Jhulan. 7 days. There is a special, in the Puri temple, there is a room or there is a bhavan called Mukti Bhavan. And they make it Jhulan Bhavan for this day. And the festival deities are Madan Mohan. So Shri Madan Mohan ji and Lakshmi ji, they bring them on a swing and they perform the Jhulan there also in Jagannath Puri. So for 5 days, Shri Radha Govind, Shri Radha Krishna, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. So when Radharani came back to her parents' place, Kirtida and Vrishbhanu. Vrishbhanu Dulari ki Jai Jai Jai. Yes. Yeah, so Vrishbhanuji and Kirtida. So she came when Radhaji came back. So then the gopis and Lord Krishna also came on the swing. It's a very intimate pastime in that sense, but we all get an opportunity to swing them, and with a request, with a mood that, my dear Lord, please be merciful to us also. Please enter my heart. Yeah? So with that mood we swing. So we'll stop here now. Granthara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay, Hare Krishna Kavita Mataji and
Prabhuji.